Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to the Psychic Hour with Marcus STARR and Salim Saeed, director of the Mobility Project. Tonight's going to be another fab show, and I'm looking forward to having as many calls and as many people come into the show as possible. Okay, so I'm going to start by introducing, of course, Salim Saeed. He is the Managing Director for the British Mobility Project and the Executive Director for the British Most Haunted Project, and is the sponsor of the show. And we have actually been starting the Haunted Project, and we're going to be doing some ghost tours. So hopefully you're all going to be quite excited by that. Salim, can you tell me more about the ghost tour, please? It's lovely to speak to you, by the way, tonight. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, Phil. Thank you so much for having us on your show, as always.
It's my honour, mate. It's my honour, honestly.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. So, yes, the paranormal ghost tours start from Monday the 24th of May, and we'll be starting at Combe Abbey in Coventry. Tickets are currently on sale on our website, thebritishmobilityproject.com, or people can just call us directly, obviously, to get further information if necessary. But yeah, very, very exciting. So I'm not sure if you've ever been on a ghost tour before.
I have done one, actually, and it was in like a sort of a nuclear bunker over in Essex. And that was a very exciting night. I mean, will Marcus, do you know, be using things like the ghosts can talk to you and stuff like that? They had all the gadgets there, to detect the ghosts and stuff like that, and the spirits, and you could ask a question and the box would tell you. I think it was called a spirit box. Could tell you what was going on. Maybe this is a good time just to bring in Marcus and ask him about those bits. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey Marcus,
hi guys. Hi. Yes, I'm absolutely fine. Lovely to be on the show. Hi everyone. Yes, we're going to be using lots of equipment on the haunting nights, and I'm really looking forward to them. It sounds very exciting, the one that you went on. Really exciting.
It was really good. It was done by the guy who does Help My House is Haunted, or he's like a paranormal investigator, and that's with Barrie John.
Right, okay. Well, we're going to be doing similar sort of things. All these places are haunted, so our sort of way of doing this is just to try and get as much activity as we can in the establishments with the time that we've got there. So using different equipment. And also trying to get in contact with them spirits that once lived there, and very much still with us on Earth in these establishments. So very exciting times ahead, and of course, the tickets are on sale. So come along. Yes,
they are on sale now. So Salim, once again, where can people get the tickets if they'd like to go? Can I ask how much the tickets are, please, as well?
Yes, of course. So if you go to the britishmobilityproject.com, you can obviously request a callback, so we can obviously go through the information with everybody individually. So, like I said, or they could call us directly from the website. The tickets are on sale for £40, which is an introductory offer.
That's a fantastic price, by the way.
It is. It's obviously extremely competitive. I mean, we've obviously looked through the market to see, exactly what other companies are charging, and the cost of other tours are extremely high, but also the quality that you're going to get from Marcus is going to be, something second to none, something you've never experienced before.
I mean, last week was something I'd never experienced before. And it was a very fascinating show that we had. For the people who unfortunately missed out last week, can you just explain a bit about what happened? Because it was a very emotional night last week, and a very touching night as well. Could I ask you to just give us a few words on how you think last week went?
I think last week was absolutely fantastic. The lovely lady Sam Hughes came on, who had unfortunately lost her son due to suicide, and the lovely lady was brave enough to come onto the show and actually have a live reading with Marcus on air and explain and validate, most importantly, the information that she'd been given, and it's assisted her to connect with her son for the last few weeks now, which is something which a lot of people can't probably get their head around. But until you actually have that reading with Marcus and have that mediumship sitting with Marcus, you're not going to understand. But extremely emotional night last week, and the feedback that I've had has just been, really, really significant.
Yeah, she was lovely. She was lovely. What a night! It was lovely, and it's such a pleasure. Doing this for the Mobility Project, it's just so lovely, because we're really assisting people in every way that we are, which is lovely.
And Marcus, how were you after the reading? How did you feel after the reading? Does it ease your soul as well as easing the person that you're giving the reading for?
It does fit, and it really is lovely, because Sam's lovely, and it's just fantastic, because I'm bringing these lovely spirit loved ones through, and it's reassuring for them as well, because there's possibly things that they didn't, or they couldn't say at the time when they was alive, and they wanted to say now in the spirit world. So there's lots of reasons why it's so lovely to just reunite two lovely, the spirit world with the physical world. It's just so lovely. It's so lovely, and hopefully we're going to be doing that, this evening. So yeah,
indeed. Would anybody mind if I just quickly shout out the telephone number, and if people want to get in touch? I can already see we've had a load of comments tonight, which is great, and I will read those out in just a second. But first off, of course, we're here with the BritishMobilityProject.com, who sponsor the show tonight, and the fantastic Marcus STARR, psychic medium. We've also got the managing director of the British Mobility Project, and also the executive director for the British Most Haunted Project as well. And as I say, he's the sponsor of the show. We will be doing ghost tours shortly, guys, but the way to get in touch is the British Mobility Project.com. Okay, so I'm going to go through the comments very quick, and we got Chris Smithhurst first. Hello, Chris. He's always the first online. Such a lovely gent. Good evening to you, Chris. Good evening to you. Megan Baker. She says, orbs, I see them around your head. Somehow I think that's the light glistening off my grey hair, but thank you for that. Also, Tim Lloyd, where is Mr. King? I have tried to contact him today. I've not seen him yet. Hopefully he'll be on later. So, Megan Baker says, in a graveyard. And Tommy Roberts, a good friend of mine, hello Tom, says, Barry Guy was the guy, Phil. Thank you for that help there when we were chatting just then. And he also said, help, my house is haunted. That's correct. Charlie Leanne Grice is saying hello to Alison Miller and Ellie Rush. Pierre Coudon is giving a big clap, and what an incredible moment from Sam, Charlie Leanne Grice is saying. And Laura Ward is giving us a wave as well. So we're getting lots of nice comments, guys, which is great. And lots of lovely people coming in. So if you want to have a reading, though, call us 07946 624 307. So that's sort of a mini read, but it gives you a little bit of a flavour of what tonight is all about. You can also, of course, ask questions about the psychic world and mediumship via Marcus STARR through the messenger. You can also text us on the same number as the studio, once again, 07946 624 307. Okay, sorry, Marcus, were you about to say something then?
No, I'm just going to say, we've got so many lovely venues coming up with the hauntings and the mediumship night. So it's going to be an exciting few months ahead. And, it really is really worth looking out on the websites and just really sort of analysing where you want to go with these evenings, because there's going to be one for each area. So keep looking at the things that we're going to be doing over the next few months. Yeah, really exciting
It's
times.
really exciting, especially after all of the COVID problems we've had and all of the
that's right.
lockdowns and everything. It's been tough, hasn't it? It's been tough to get out there and do other things.
And it's so lovely to do a show like this, because you will get people coming through that can't relate to things. You will get people that can relate to things, but it's such a relaxed, lovely show, and we can just link in with the spirit world and see what messages we get. It's really exciting. I'm really excited to do this.
Okay, well, I have actually got the first one in from Pierre Coudon. Okay, and he has asked us. Let me just find the text. You know what it's like. It's technology. He's saying, can he ask about his divorce and will that finally go through? He's saying about marriage as well with Armel and work.
Okay, thank you.
He's listening right now.
That's okay, yes. What's this gentleman's name again?
It's Pierre. He's French.
Pierre, that's a nice name. Okay, thank you. Right, let's tune into this. As I say, some things you will understand, some things you may not. If you don't understand, it's absolutely fine. It's because they're to come. Some things that I say are just predictions, just about to come or going to come into the near future. Let's have a look. Right. Interesting. Okay, right. The first thing that I detect is as you're going forward in life and you're taking that next phase, because this world as we live today, it is like school. We are learning every day. We are going into things every day. And I just feel with yourself, you're moving on, you're moving into that next phase of your life, you're moving forward. But I've got to say, and we can't tell you what to do, so it is your choice, but it's important, I feel, to make the right choices, because I do feel that you're going to get asked to go back to somewhere where you've been before. And I do feel that's the marriage or relationship. I feel as if you're going to be asked to go back to somewhere where you've been before, even meeting up with old grounds, in old circumstances, with people that you've met before, been involved before. And the problem is if you do that, you are literally, what the guides are saying, you're stepping back in time. So in order for you to go forward, it is your choice. But why would you want to go back if going back in the past was so awful for you? Why would you not want to go into the future? So I can't make these decisions for you, but what the guides are saying to you are these are the choices that you're going to have. And I feel yourself, that if you did go back into that situation, you'd have to think really carefully, because they didn't make it easy for you. But obviously only you know that. I'll leave that with you. Thank you very much for coming through. Lovely text.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you for that. And it's lovely to have you on our show. Okay, so... Okay, we've also been joined by Ronnie Goodbury. Now, I took some pictures of Ronnie just a little while back for the locals' newspapers and stuff, because he runs a group called Woodley Volunteer for COVID-19, which was a fantastic help to people around the time, delivering food parcels and all that sort of stuff to needy people and vulnerable people, and people who couldn't basically get out of their house. So hi to Ronnie anyway. Good evening to you. I just wanted to give him a bit of a say hello. But yeah, so that was interesting. Guys, don't forget you can call the show 07946 624 307. If you've got any questions about the paranormal, keep them coming in through the messenger, and you can also ask questions about the paranormal or mediumship and psychic on the text messages as well. All right. So, Marcus, I mean, How's your week been this week?
Yes, it's been busy. It's been absolutely fine. Yes, it's been busy. I do a lot of meditation as well as obviously being on the front line with all this. So it's and anybody listening with regards to wanting to get involved with this or wanting to really get to grips with the spiritual, the psychic work, it's very important to meditate. Meditation for me is a daily routine. I do meditation roughly about twice a day if I can. So obviously I'm busy with lots of things, but it's lovely because what you can do is see things from different angles, different perspectives. And a lot of times when I do these sittings, obviously mediumship being sitting, the readings being the psychic world, and just feeling the energy.
Sorry.
See when I do the haunting side of it, so you will see that and you will feel that. And particularly with the mediumship, what they do is they use my voice as the voice box, so they'll just talk through me. And sometimes when I'm doing the readings, you'll hear me do that. So even I don't know what the spirit world is saying. Sometimes it just we just feel it and it just comes out. So interesting.
So we've had a call as well. I think Paul King is on the line. Paul, are you there?
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Paul, could you put is your phone on speaker at the second in time, or is it plugged into anything?
No, I'm plugged into my headphones and mic.
Would you plug them out just for a minute, just so we can hear you a little bit clearer, please? That's all right.
Hold on. They use my voice as the voice box.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, but just turn down the volume in the background, please, mate. That's all right.
I don't know.
Otherwise, we get lots of feedback.
There we go.
Lovely stuff. Okay, so Paul.
Shall I put my headset back on?
No, leave it off for a second. I just need to know that Marcus and Salim are still here.
Hello, good evening, gentlemen. Hi, good evening.
Good stuff. Okay, so Paul, a couple of weeks ago you had a very interesting reading from Marcus STARR, and I was just wondering if you could validate some of the things that were said in that reading, and is it okay for you, Marcus, as well?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so Paul, could you tell us some of the stuff that was correct about the reading?
Wow, it was all correct. I must say, my late sister came through, Amanda. Now, who was sadly murdered many years ago. She was murdered in a public toilet. She was. That was absolutely spot on. She's saying, "Don't worry about your eyes. They're going to be okay. Don't rub your eyes." And she said, things will be okay, don't worry. And to be quite honest, the gent was spot on.
Because I think Marcus also said about the fact that you were waiting for an emergency appointment. Now, that was correct as well, wasn't it?
That certainly was, yeah. I'm waiting for an emergency appointment at the Royal Berkshire Hospital for the city cardiologist.
I also get a feeling as well that you're going to be changing things in the house or actually moving home. Have you thought about that at all?
Oh,
that's coming in very strong spiritually, on a psychic level, not so much on a mediumistic level, on a psychic level. It's coming through very strongly with the energy.
You'd be bang on there, yeah. You would be good.
Because I just feel it's the environment. It's lovely, and you've made it nice in your home, but it's not quite how you want it. And I feel there's certain areas of the house where you do need a little bit more comfort than what you've got, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that certainly does make sense.
Yeah. Yes, but I'll leave that with you because it's all personal. Yeah, I'm sure you don't want everybody to know things, but just quickly, would you understand there's a little bit of mould or a little bit of an area in the house where you feel uncomfortable with?
Yes, I'll do, yeah.
Yeah. God bless you. Well, I'm going to, the reason why, we do these evenings is for the Mobility Project and to help people. And what I'm going to do, because it's not about me, it's about you guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send lots of healing to you. And I'm going to ask the universe, ask the spirit world to just assist you with either that move or that change. Have you got anybody, because it's ruined me a little bit, have you got anybody that can help you to decorate or do, because I'm just a little bit concerned with where you live with that mold, that situation where you are, because I feel it really brings you down, if that makes sense.
Well, in the sense of decorating, I've done that, and since I had the flood and whatnot, it's just put me off into decorating. The landlord doesn't care less.
That's right. That's what I'm feeling. I didn't want to say that, and I was a little bit concerned about saying that, but but yes, that's quite correct, and it's not nice. So we need to. Right. Okay. Is there any sort of authority you can get involved with?
Well,
with regards to that?
When I had the flooding here. Well, yeah. When I had the flooding here, not so long ago, still knows. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I had to actually call the environmental team in from the local council here, because the landlord here said he was going to do nothing about it. I had running water for 2 days. I did. Coming down through the ceiling.
That's what I'm seeing as a psychic. That's what I'm feeling and seeing and hearing as a psychic. That's what, and I'm sort of getting these sort of clairvoyant visions. I'm thinking, gosh, this is not fair on you. So it's. At least you're doing something to get on with this. Now, I keep hearing the name of a lady's name of Susan as well. Susan.
That's strange. That's my oldest daughter's mother's name, and she's still with us.
Still with us, that's right. Let me just, I hope you don't mind me just, because this is unexpected, all this, wasn't it? Sure, the guys are okay with this as well. Yeah, right. Yeah, let's have a look, because I'm very much...
You're very much a talented man. And very
thank you. Well, there's one thing, you can tell it's all live. It was unexpected.
And I'd just like to say something as well, actually. Marcus and myself haven't spoken about Paul's situation whatsoever away from the show. I don't think I've actually spoken to you since last week's show, Marcus, have I?
No.
I'm just trying to make it clear to people that it's not a, some sort of setup.
No. Well, the gentleman who's actually doing the show this evening, until I spoke to the gent concerned, he knew nothing of me, knew nothing of my past. Our medium is actually 100% professional in what he's saying.
Well, God bless you. That's very good of you to say. I mean, I just do it, to help people, to guide, give back to spirit world as much as I can, and to help as much as I can. Obviously, with regards to the Mobility Project and so on. If we can give it quite a lot back, it's a wonderful thing to do. But I'm just wondering why they're talking about Susan, and I'm just sort of hearing very, very clearly what's going on. I'm just going into that for you now. Right. Would you understand that she's struggling a little bit with her breathing?
Yes, correct.
Oh, right. I didn't know that. Okay, she's in hospital, right? Because when she comes out, the message is she's got to slow down in her life. She's got to relax, because she gets very flustered and frustrated.
I'd imagine she would.
Yes, she gets very flustered and frustrated. But she yes. What's the connection with the 90s? Is she in the 90s? 80s or 90s?
No, she'd be the 80s.
80s, that's right, okay.
Late 70s.
Okay, so they're giving me 90s in with regards to, yes, long life ahead, I understand. But she's in her current 80s, yeah? Okay. And also they're giving me 8% in the sense of, you know, quite stressful person, 8%. So she's got to bring that sort of Richter scale down a little bit. I don't see no major issues, but she's got to relax a little bit more. So can you tell her that for me when she comes out? So I just want her to be, you know, safe with herself. And I feel that message is quite valuable for you.
Okay, yeah. When I next get to speak to her, you know.
God bless her. So, yeah. When did she come out of hospital?
Well, we don't know. She only went to hospital yesterday.
Yeah. And I'm being told it was an emergency. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's right.
The blue lights, my daughter phoned me.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, she'll. Again, you see, you see, people come through to us that need assistance the most. I'm going to send the healing to her as well. Can I do that for you, my good friend?
Yes, if you wish to. Thank you.
I'd love to do that for you. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. I'll leave your love with them. Thank you.
Paul, thank you very much. Is that okay for you at the second?
Most definitely. You're very welcome.
I can feel it.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Well, thank you for the feedback. You know, very, very good of you.
Absolutely, yeah. Everything you spoke to me about previously is 100% accurate what you're saying.
You see, what they'll do is they'll try and the spirits, the guides, will try and sort of home in on the situations we need to deal with. You know, 100%, and they'll try and help us in you know, in the physical life where we are. And it was just them two elements with the lovely lady obviously going to hospital and obviously your home. I feel I'm being given that by the end of July, August time, it wouldn't surprise me if your home and your situation in your home is very, very much changed, which is going to give you a great sort of new lease of life, a new feeling of just, you know, things are just really happy for you because you really want change now. With that situation, I think you've been waiting for so long, haven't you, for the house?
I have, since the flooding and whatnot. You know, it hasn't been the same. You know, and with the damp problem last winter, where I had to employ a humidity system in here, literally litres and litres and litres of water.
Was it quite severe flooding? Was it?
Well, it came down from upstairs to the ceiling.
Terrible.
It wiped off the kitchen out. It took the ceilings down. Soaked the walls. Plug sockets had to be.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear. So this is what you see when I do these evenings, or when I sort of ask the spirit world or feel the energy to come forward. You know, I never know what's going on. I just simply listen to them and then just go along with it all, you see. So, that's interesting.
It's not bad. It was because I had to call the environmental team from the local community. I had no clue. That's the only reason why the landlord came and switched the water off and everything else and started. The after repairs started.
Yes.
You know,
it was so tough, Paul, wasn't it? It was so tough. You know, you wouldn't believe it in this day and age that these things happen, but they do, and it's very unfortunate when it does.
You saw the video, didn't you, Phil?
I did, yeah, and it was disgusting, mate. But unfortunately, Paul, could I call you back maybe a bit later on after the show? It's just that we're getting more and more texts and calls. Well, thank you for calling back and just validating all that for us, mate. I really appreciate it. All right.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
As I say, I'll send some healing. You know, I know what it's like. I've been in trouble myself in the past in my life. I'm not exempt. So I will send as much love to you and your family, particularly that's in hospital. So leave that with me.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show, Paul.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Okay, take care. Speak to you later, Bill. Thank you.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye. Bye.
So there we go. Another little validation there, Marcus. How did you feel about that? And also, you gave him a little bit more of a reading as well, which unbelievable, fantastic.
Well, it's a very relaxed show, you know.
Yeah.
It is relaxed, and it's just lovely, and it's so nice. People come back and give the feedback. You know, it's really nice, and thank you. Lovely.
It's really good. Well, now I hope you don't mind. I'm going to go back to the texts. This is for a lovely lady called Charlie Leanne Grice. Now, she will be starting a show with us on a Monday night down here on This Is Reading, but she was really looking for some guidance. Okay, she sent me a message here on the text. Okay. So she says, you know, I've struggled with my mental health. It would be lovely to have some guidance about my life. My marriage is on the rocks. I've moved out and living with mental health issues. I started the COVID group in Prospect Park and love what it's become, but could do with some help myself. Would you be possibly able to give her a psychic prediction for future, please?
Okay, Michelle, thank you. Right, so let's have a look.
Charlie,
let's hear. Sorry, Phil, sorry.
Charlie, apologies.
Charlie, sorry, it's Charlie. Okay, Charlie. Right, let's have a look. I don't know why I got Michelle then, that's interesting, but right, okay, Charlie, let's have a look. Interesting, Charlie. I feel really excited for you and your future over the next 3 months. I really do. What I would say to you is it's very important to take the opportunities. Opportunities don't come very often. Take them with both hands. I do feel with you, and I understand this because, you know, it's happened to me in past times and things like that, so I do understand, not with the spiritual stuff, but generally in my own life. It's confidence is not always easy, and what I would say to you is have the confidence to take all of the opportunities that you need to take, because I just feel that you're going to look at yourself and think, actually I can't do that, or possibly this is not for me, or possibly that I can't achieve this and I can't do this and this, and so please don't think that way. I feel you've got to be really focused, really positive, and say you can do this, and I know you will do it. That's the energy that I'm feeling with you, that there's opportunity, just go for it. I do know that also at the moment you've got to find yourself, which means having time with yourself is a very important thing at this moment in time. And I feel things like getting involved with new relationships or getting involved with people that maybe, yes, they're friends or they seem friends but can't necessarily trust them, or should we say you've got to vet them or assess them first before you can say that they're actually a really good friend to you. I feel you've got to be a little bit wary of this, so just be a little bit careful of friendships, be a little bit careful particularly in the relationship area, but focus on you. And I feel if you can do this, I feel you're going to go really, really forward. I see a lot of caring coming up for you. I don't know whether there's a new caring position coming up, or it's been offered to you, or you've got to look after people, but I do feel that's coming up as well for you. I also feel that there's some lovely things coming up for you. I can see you potentially having opportunity of doing some radio work or working in and around hospital as well over the next few months. So these things are very important to you, but generally speaking, just keep your eyes open and look after yourself first. I know it's a little bit selfish, I know we shouldn't say that, but you've been through a lot. It's time now to just get yourself back on track, and God bless you, and I wish you all the luck in the world. Thank you.
Also, I'm going to go back to the messages here. We got a question for Marcus from Tommy Roberts, and he says, well, he's got a few questions actually, but this one in particular, Are you religious at all, Marcus? Are you religious?
That's a good question. Right, okay. Yes, I am. Yes, I do believe in the energy of the good and the bad. There's two forces in this world. There's one of the negative vibration. So there's one of I suppose we could say the darker side, demons, that sort of area that we won't go too much into. So the dark side, and then there's the light side. So you've got angels and so on. Now, which is the strongest force? The strong, because they're both as strong as each other. Which is the strongest force? The strongest one is the one that you feed the most. So if you feed religion in a really good way, and you believe in Jesus and you believe in God, which is wonderful and lovely to do, I do too, and you give the love there, and you have the responsibility of giving love and harmony and joyful times, then that becomes positive, and then you go on to that side, which is very, very spiritually on the light. That's where you've got the dark and the light. So it's interesting. They're both as strong as each other. And I'm constantly, as a spiritualist, and this is why this show is lovely, because I can talk about my own life as well. As a spiritualist, I'm constantly protecting myself and saying, I want to look after myself through the light, through protection, and just do things in the right way. And it's not easy, because sometimes in life you come across people that are maybe on the opposite side, and you do have to, come into a psychic or getting involved with this world as the psychic world. You can really involve a psychic to actually have a look at the people that are to be trusted or who are not to be trusted, and we can help you with that. But to be honest with you, yes, I am religious, and I do believe in religious if it's done in the right way. Anything in life. I mean, I love animals. If you've got two animals and one's really vicious, and then the other animal is really lovely, you can stroke it. Which one would you feed the most? If you had to feed the two, you would feed the lovely animal that is loving and caring, and that's the light. So we could say that's religious. But if you feed the bad one, it's going to become more dominant. So it's important to know that, and that's my take on the religious side of things. It's just simply just two forces working together. Which force, is the strongest one? The one that you feed the most.
And it's a good philosophy to have on life as well, actually, Marcus, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Some people look at danger and walk into the danger, and some people, stay on the straight and narrow, which is fantastic.
Very, very much so.
Tommy also asks, what do you think happens when you die?
Okay, interesting question. Right, okay. Well, we are in a shell here. I'm in a shell. We're all in a shell. And when we pass over, our spirit goes out of the shell, and it just emerges into the spirit world. So our shell is no more, but our thoughts, our emotions, it's almost like if you're asleep at night. And your body's no more, but your subconscious system is still around. You've got your memory links, you've got your feelings, your thoughts, you've got lots of things that you're thinking about, energy. So that your energy is still lingering, and that's why when the spirit world, that's why when the physical world and the ones in the physical world do go over to the spirit world, it's quite interesting. Often is the case when they pass away very quickly. What tends to happen is that they don't actually know that they've actually passed over, because it's happened so quickly. Because the transformation is very quick from the energy on Earth and coming out of the shell to the energy in the spirit world. It's quite interesting.
Very exciting stuff. Well, Charlie Leanne Grice, who just gave a reading to just a moment ago, says literally amazing. Kiss, kiss. So
thank you.
You're doing it all right. You're doing it all right. Okay. If you don't mind, though, I'm going to ask you another question. from Tommy Roberts, and then I'm going to go back to Charlie very quick on the text. So he says, do you believe energy has to go somewhere when you die, i.e. the spirit world?
Yes, it does. But at the same, yes, is quite correct. Yes, it does. But also, if, for example, and this is where the haunting nights are going to work really well, because when there's been a situation of tragedy or great great trauma, that energy is very much still lingering in the premises of where they passed over, or the tragedy of what happened around them. So, sometimes when you go into a new house, you can feel if you feel good about it or if you feel bad about it, and a lot of the times, that negative energy is of someone that possibly would have took their own life or would have possibly done something, awful, and then that energy is still there. So, yes, if you go over in the right way, yes, your energy has to go over there. It is a process. It is a process, not just over that world. There's other worlds as well. So it's a process of coming from this world to the world. But even so, even if we go over in a right way, so possibly, our sleep in the night just passing over, we're still able to contact the relatives if we need to. So again, that's another energy. So for example, we pass over and we didn't quite say goodbye towards the end. That's again an energy. Even if we passed over in our sleep, we'd still want to say goodbye to that person. And sorry, love, I just want to say goodbye because, I passed over so quickly. We didn't get a chance to say goodbye. So interesting questions, and we can answer these. Hopefully that's helped you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was from Tommy. Charlie Leanne Grice has come back again. So this is Charlie again. And she says, I lost my friend Joe in the terror attack in Forbury. So this was last year in the Forbury Gardens. She lost her friend Joe in the Forbury terror attack during all of this hell. So I would love to hear from him. Is there any way you can connect them both?
Phil, thank you. Okay, well, instantly as Phil was reading that text out, and please give us some feedback on this. It's like I say, whenever I do this, there'll be some information that you understand. Possibly if you don't know the information, it's because it's coming up for you. Spirit world energy works in a very strange way, but instantly when Phil was giving that information out, I felt as if this lovely man had a doggy with him. I felt as if the dog went everywhere with him. I felt as if it was very much there. So yes, he is coming through a little bit. It's a little bit difficult on a text. Love you to come through to the show, but he's certainly coming through, and he's certainly talking about this animal that he loved and cherished. Also feel as if there's probably a big chain on the animal as well. But either way, he wants you to know about that. So I'll give that to you, and thank you for coming through. Also, you could have possibly heard there a little bit of a speech issue. I don't know whether this man had a speech issue as well in his earthly life, but my speech went a little bit wonky there. So you'll probably hear that in my voice, which again, that's a sign that he's wanting to link in and wanting to come through to you at some point if he was to talk to me face to face. So yeah, thank you.
So that was Marcus, of course, and for a fuller reading for anybody who's listening tonight, you can find him at the British Mobility Project.com, and of course he is going to be at our psychic tours as well, the Most Haunted Psychic Tours. Salim, can I bring you back in just for a moment, please, if that's all right?
Of course you can, Phil.
Lovely stuff. It's lovely to be back with you tonight. So we're very excited about these tours, and it's going to be great fun. Marcus is going to be there as our psychic medium, and he's going to be walking around to haunted venues and stuff like that, which is very scary. I've got to say, it's a very scary thought. But I can't wait. I mean, how do you guys feel about it?
Good question. I mean, I'm very excited about it, but at the same time, extremely apprehensive. I've never personally been on a ghost tour or any type of paranormal tour or anything like that. And obviously, you know, trying to organise something like this is very nerve-wracking. But but for some reason, I do feel, you know, really comfortable about it, because I've got Marcus there, and obviously Marcus and I have known each other for quite some time, and you know, Marcus is extremely sort of reassuring, and you know, it just makes me feel comfortable and relaxed about the whole thing, to be honest, Phil.
Well, he's a very relaxed guy, and he comes across very well as well, which always helps. Yes. How do you feel, Marcus? Because you do sometimes still get scared of these things as well, don't you, when things kick off?
I mean, it's just fantastic to support, as I say, the mobility project with all this. And you know, we're going to be doing the hauntings. And yes, you're quite right. I do. You know, all the years I've done this, it still amazes me with some of these evenings what can happen. Anything. That's the great thing about the haunting evenings. I mean, when we do the mediumship evenings, that's a whole different atmosphere. That's going to be beautiful as well, because that's bringing loved ones through on these evenings with the mediumship, connecting the two worlds together, and really helping people again for the mobility project. But with the hauntings, it's exciting, and no one knows what's going to happen. It's one of them things that, you know, we know something's going to happen, but when, we don't know, and that can be quite exciting. And it's just, you know, jump on board, you know, experience it with us. And you're quite right, you never know what's going to happen. So, you know, I may have some new experiences as a psychic medium. There's one sure thing about being a psychic medium. All the years I've done this, you are forever learning in the world of doing this, which is fantastic. And I'm sure, I mean, Coombe Abbey, where we're going to, is extremely haunted. It's got it's really sort of deep in history. Going back to the Henry VIII and so on. So, you know, there's lots of things, lots of, you know, we're going to really explore this venue and see exactly what's going to happen there with the energy of the lost souls that still wander around that sort of atmosphere of that location. Very interesting evening.
Wow, I can't wait. I think it's going to be excellent, and I've got my tickets already. Okay, so guys, we're going to go back to the messages very quick. He says, should we be scared of death? And that's from Kimmy T. Should we be scared of death?
Okay, and it's a very, very good question, and thank you for bringing this to. Right, okay, it's complicated and complex, but the answer to your question is no. It's very much a procedure that we're all going to go through. So it's scientific that we're all going to go through this. So do we be scared of this? No. However, if someone does pass away in a circumstance, and we could go to religion with this if we wanted to, but, you know, we'll save that for the show. You know, so say, for example, if we take our own life, it's a little bit of a different situation, because what happens is it's the same procedure, but when we get over to the spirit world, you have to, because you've left them behind in the way that you've done what you've done, the relatives or the people become victims. Okay, which means that you have to, the person that's passed over or took their own life through tragic circumstances, they have to look through their family or the victim's eyes, from their eyes through their eyes. And so that's not to be feared, of course, but there's a lot of guilt with this. There's a lot of feeling, I wish I hadn't have done this. Why did I do this? I'm seeing my family suffer over many years. And that's why I always encourage, if someone has passed over or has took their own life, particularly with a family that's still on earth, although they're suffering, try to wipe the tears and try and get through that energy and that positive energy as quick as you can. Because what happens then is the spirit that's gone over that has took their own life, they become free. They're no longer feeling guilty and upset, because a lot of people, when they do take their own life, through depression or through mental health, what happens is they discover when they get over there that they've made the completely wrong decision. And so that suffering is over there. But the more you release your own suffering and your own pain, I know it's a process, it can't be done quickly, the more you release and let the spirit free that's took their own life. So there's that aspect of it. But the other aspect of that question, and thank you for bringing it through, it's very valid, is that loved ones that have passed away, it's quite a nice feeling, because what happens is you get reunited with your family that have passed over. So it may be your nan, your granddad, people. I mean, I've got grandparents, that I knew they've passed over now, and I know they're around me, always around me. And it'd be lovely when I go over to be reunited with them, and I know they will be there with me. So it's lovely that we do get reunited, and that's how we can do, particularly the mediumship evenings and evening of mediumship, Marcus style. When I start doing those, bringing the two worlds together is going to be amazing, because then you can really feel them relatives with the validation evidence that we give that they're connecting with yourself in the audience. So interesting question. Thank you for bringing it through.
Oh, wow, amazing, an amazing answer as well. Okay, so Kimmy T's another question. I think I've asked you this already. She may have missed this, but it says, on the haunted nights, will you have an SLS camera and a polterpod? Which I assume is poltergeist.
Yes, we're going to have we're going to have various equipment, and there are a couple of things that we will be having. But there's other things we're going to be having as well, because certain things are outdated. We want modern stuff as well. We want as much evidence and validation that there's going to be poltergeist activity in these places, and also that the spirits that are still lingering in them premises are coming through and giving us sheer evidence that they're there, and that's what on a haunting night, what we're doing is creating, or just say disturbing them spirits that have been there for many years, that are probably trying to go to the light and can't do that because of the tragedy of how they passed over.
So is something like having a car accident different to a suicide in the way that the process would work for somebody to get into the spirit realm?
Well, it's all the
if
same
it's not
process.
Your choice compared to your choice.
Yes, it's all the same process. However, there's no and forgive these words, there's no guilt attached to it when you go over. There could be a little bit of guilt attached to it if, say, for example, we're getting into the car to go down to the shops, and that's where we pass over with that car accident. However, we didn't, see our mother or father for 12 months. There'd probably be a little bit of guilt attached to that when you go over to the spirit world, because often is the case, and not for all spirits, but often is the case, and as a medium I can change these things, but often is the case, when a spirit goes over to the spirit world, they can't get in touch, they can't touch things, see, they can't do certain things. Some spirits can, some people can't, because you have to create the energy, you see, to be able to do that. And my job is to help them to create that energy, but it's not always easy, particularly without the medium or the psychic. So it's the same process, but it's a little different than suicide, because suicide is definitely, you was meant to do that. So although it's a mistake, at the same time, you've got guilt. Yeah.
Sorry,
and the only way.
Sorry, Marcus, would you say suicide is destiny then? It's still a destiny of sorts.
Yes.
It was always meant to be.
Well, we've all got free will and choice.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I do with my psychic work is often, say for example, there's a choice of, do I have a relationship with this person on the left, or do I have a relationship with this person on the right? As a psychic, I can look into the two elements, and also, suicide or on earth, I can look into the two situations, but it's ultimate to them which decision they take. But with any decision you take, there's implicants. There's things happen which that's what implications. That's right. I couldn't think of the word. So it's very tricky, because before you do anything in life, you've got to really, and life's a bit like this, and this is why I say it's school, and it's quite similar over there as it is to, it's just a different school. You've really got to think about each day when you wake up what you're doing, what's going to happen if I do A, B, C, and D, and it's not easy. And of course, passing over is very, very similar to this. So it's not easy. But if you was to pass over in a car accident, and it's funny you should say that, because I feel as if there is someone in someone that you knew that actually had that. Would that make sense to you at all?
Yeah, indeed.
And would you understand that I feel that it was a complete freak of nature that it happened? I feel there was a child in the back seat, and I feel the child wanted attention, and I feel they looked over to the back seat to give them attention, slightly, just for a few seconds. The head went back, they looked at the child, the head come back forward, and before they knew it, there was a head-on collision. Would you understand that?
Yeah, Do you know what? For a second there, I went
forgive me, I link in as I'm doing this.
I wasn't expecting that. So for a second
forgive
there,
me. It's okay. Anything, yeah.
I mean, it's all very sad sort of circumstances.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that caught me off guard. But thank you, Marcus, because that was very interesting.
It's okay.
But Charlie Leanne Grice says, suicide is a very difficult subject. The pain is horrendous for those who are left. But when someone takes their life, they've taken control of their pain. And until you walk in their shoes of someone suicidal, I feel those who are so troubled aren't left watching their loved ones in pain. That was just a comment there. God bless who sent that in. Of course, and that in itself just sort of illustrates what we're talking about. So thank you very much for saying that. Yeah. Tommy Roberts asks, have you experienced any guests that have been to a haunting evening, like being scratched by a spirit? He says he has experienced something similar, and he noticed 4 marks on a girl's back.
Oh, let's have a look at that. Right, let's see. Well, I have, not at a venue, but I have done with myself.
And what do you class that as, Marcus?
Well, I class that as stigmata. I mean, I had that many years ago. That's right. It was quite interesting, because I woke up one morning, and the only way of describing it, because it was the first time that I'd had it, I've had quite a few experiences over my life, but it was almost like a tattoo, and I'm sort of looking in the mirror at this tattoo, and I'm thinking, well, what is that? And it was of a cross. And then the next day just vanished, just completely vanished. Wow. And it's just one of them things that, even today I'll look back and think, well, that's strange. And there was a certain amount of strangeness to it, even more than that, because at that time in my life, I was actually around religion a little bit. I was discovering religion a little bit there. There was a particular priest around me at that time, and he was about to pass over. and I did help him quite a lot with certain things that was going on. And interestingly and strangely enough, he passed over a few weeks after that happened to me. So it's almost like they was sort of guiding me, really, to sort of illustrate what was to come. And these things, odd things happen like this throughout my daily life. Every day, things happen. I mean, some psychic mediums would disagree with this, but I'm very much one for signs. Signs. I very much believe in signs each day of what's to come. Definitely, yes.
Wow, fascinating. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So this tattoo, was it actually like a tattoo that you would get from a tattoo artist's place, or was it, I know it sounds ridiculous, or was it a cross in the shape of a cross as a tattoo?
No, it's a good question. It's a good question. The only way that I could describe it, and you're quite right, the tattoo is probably a little bit of an exaggeration, because the way you've put that is right, and I can explain it. It's almost like I'm laying down, and when you have something, how can I put this into words? So say you was to put a cross, and you was to put the cross in say it was metal, and you was to put the cross in hot kettled water,
right?
And then you put it on your neck. It would leave an implant, and what happened was that implant. So it was. I'm describing it in the right way. It is like a tattoo, but it wasn't. It was just an implant.
Kind of like the way they mark sheep. Would
That's
you class
right.
it
Yes,
as something similar to
but
that?
It was a
maybe?
cross. It was a cross. That's right. That's right. You've got it. Yeah. It's difficult to put into words, but that's quite correct, Phil. That's right. Yes.
Fascinating. Okay, Kimmy T's come back and she's asked, have you been in a haunted location and witnessed someone taking home an attachment?
No, that's a very, very good question. A very, very good question indeed. Right. Well, yes, I have, and it is a very, I would say, very common thing to happen. I'd say it is pretty much routine if you don't do the following. And this is why I get very frustrated with a lot of haunting companies. A lot of, they don't put the protection on the guests that are going on to the haunting night. And that's something that we will be doing. We will be, there's going to be a form to sign, declaration to sign to say, certain things can happen. But also, I'm going to be doing a lot of healing, and also I'm going to be protecting the guests that are coming on board. So they will be looked after. They will be protected. And it's important that they know that. So with the protection that we put on them spiritually and also physically as well, there shouldn't be any attachments going home to the guests that come on haunting nights. But if, for example, you go home and you've delved into certain things on the haunting night, and then you start to sort of say there's been, I don't know, one or two names called out from the medium that's now seen myself, come through, make yourself here with us this evening, and then they go home and they sort of try and reenact that in their own home, that protection barrier would go down. And that's how I did a clearing once many years ago in a house, respectable family, lovely people. There was not many issues or problems, and they went on a haunting night. And after the haunting night, they started to get Ouija boards in the house and things like that. Which to be fair, there's no need. I mean, you've had the haunting night; it's been a success. You've seen things, you've felt things, and it's fantastic.
Would you ever recommend a Ouija board?
Well, under a medium's, a psychic medium that has been doing it for 25, 30 years, I would say go ahead, because it's something that the medium can deal with and control. But if we can protect them on the evening of the evening of the haunting night. What we can't protect the public with is when they come out of that establishment, out of our hands.
And
what they do after then. Well, that's quite right, and that's probably what the form's going to be about. But but yes, whilst they're there, they're going to be protected. So the answer to that question is, if the spirits are not going to go with you when you come out of that establishment, but if you try and bring them back through, they're probably going to get through the barriers. So the procedure of what we've done is sort of invalid.
Have you got a most haunted location where you've been to before that's been like overly what you would describe as a usual sort of haunted property or venue or place?
Yes, there's quite a few in that.
Yeah.
Yes, there's quite okay for they're lovely questions, and I'm really enjoying this. There's quite a few places in Wales that I've been to that in the past. I mean, Screw-It Inn is very haunted. Done a lot of work with Barrie John there, and that's extremely haunted. Me and Barrie done, good nights there, and to be honest with you, there was a lot of activity, and it was quite phenomenal. So there's different places we've done, but certainly Wales is for me. You've got some of the hauntedest places in the UK. I mean, again, the one that's coming up for us, Coombe Abbey. I've been in it before and I've done certain things. It is got a lot of spiritual, a lot of haunting activity. It really is. And one of the things at Coombe Abbey that you'll find, it's interesting that someone said about orbs. You will find, and I'm hoping that we can film this on the evening, a lot of orbs. Because in the past, that establishment has created a lot of orbs.
I love it. Do you know one of the most unexpected places that I've ever been to, where I found a lot of orbs? I caught a lot on even my mobile phone camera. Was actually in London at a Sherlock Holmes his 221B in London, and as we were going around the house, it was like opened up as a museum to the public. You could see the orbs, and it was orbs. It was definitely orbs going past the camera in different rooms and things like that. That was my most sort of, as I say, graphic. What I could see, place to go, and it was in London. It was the Sherlock Holmes 221B Baker Street.
Wow.
And we just went there, to see an attraction, a bit of a tour in London, and it was all going on. And I thought to myself, why aren't most haunted here? You know what I mean? Because this, it seems like it's got lots of activity.
Yes. Yes.
So that's but I mean.
Are you looking forward to Coombe Abbey, Phil?
I am, but I'm nervous as well. I'm nervous.
You'll be fine. Well, we're going to look
if
after
you see an attachment on me, you tell me about it. You know what I mean? So
most definitely. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'll throw my arms around and just push it away, and hopefully that'll sort it. I bet you it doesn't, but there we go.
Can I just jump in there, Phil?
Yeah.
What Kimmy T mentioned about the attachment, I actually asked Marcus this question as well. It's a very, very good question. And in fact, it's probably a question a lot of people are going to be thinking about and wanting to ask, to be honest. And one bit of advice that I took from what Marcus said to me personally on a one-to-one level was that when you get home, it's very important to, and hopefully Marcus can clarify this, is to immediately get in the bath or a shower and wash off the negative sort of vibe effectively, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Could you just sort of confirm that, Marcus?
Yes, no, 100%. You see, it all comes down to energy and how. I'll try and give an example of this, and Celine's quite right that it's totally right. to go in a cold, warm shower or hot bath and just get rid of that negative energy is so important. Negative energy of that establishment, of that person, of that situation, so important. What is energy? Okay, now people are probably going to ask, well, what is energy? Energy is all around us. From the air that we breathe, we wake up in the morning, energy is all around us. How many times do you get people on the phone that are coming through to sell something or to speak to you about something, and or you're getting through to them to speak to them about something or talk to them about something, and often is the case where you can sort of hear them, oh, are you okay, yeah, I'm okay, yeah, and their energy levels are really low. Their energy level, you can tell they've had a really bad day, they're really fed up with things, and their energy levels are really low. Now, how can you change that energy vibration? Because it's all about vibration. Go on the phone. Hi, how are you doing? I'm having a great day. You're going to have a great day. You sound really professional on the phone. You're very kind. You're very good. And people think sometimes you can be balmy saying this, but it's quite important, because what you're doing is you're giving them good vibrations. You're sending them positive energy, and that changes the energy. So the reason why I've used that as an example is so people can understand the energy. It's a bit like a propeller, or should we say, for example, some people, I've not got one, but some people have got sort of in the ceilings, haven't they? The fans, for the summer. And there's three propellers, but it needs energy. Yes, the electric, it goes through that, but the energy and the propellers are going round and round and round. It's creating energy, and then obviously once it stops, that energy stops. That's how the spirit world works. Now, when you create the energy with a loved one that's passed away, or say, for example, a positive energy atmosphere, what happens is then the spirits come through very naturally and very clearly, more professionally, because what happens is you've got that positive energy you're creating. I'm often saying to the spirit world, like I would on the call to that person, saying a sales place, spirit, this is positive energy, this is a place where you can come through. I'm positive, I know you're going to be positive, come through, let's build the energy up, let's build up, let's work together as a team. And that's building, a medium's job is to build the energy before they come through. And it's an interesting question. I know I'm going off the beat here, but it comes back to the suicide, comes back to the more negative energy. If there's negative energy of how they've passed away, then a medium has to build, it's harder to build the energy up to get it very positive from the negative side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hopefully that's a bit more clearer. So going into a bath, if we're going into a haunting night, it's all doom and gloom, bad energy, negative energy, people that have been passed away through either crime or there's one place called Gallows of Justice. It's a justice system. They used to put them on the table and then just used to slaughter them in that way, and that is negative energy. So a place like that would be a perfect place to come out of there. And yes, you're right, go in a bath, cleanse that energy, so you're getting rid of all that negative energy and bringing positive energy in your life, so you can carry on with your daily routines and your daily life. Yes.
Fantastic, Marcus. Can I ask you just a few more questions, if possible, mate? This one is from Kimmy T again. She says, have you been abroad on hauntings? But I'm thinking more to myself, when you go away, do you go abroad on holiday? And do you experience ghosts that maybe speak in a different language from yourself? Can that happen?
Very, very good question again. I've not been abroad for such a long time. However, I often talk on the phone to people abroad. I work with people all over the world on the phone or on Skype or whatever that in whichever way we do it abroad. And yes, most definitely, when the spirit comes through to me, either with a negativity spirit or a positive spirit, either way, when they come through to me, it has been known, not all the time, but it has been known that the voice box comes in, and the spirits talk through me, and often is the case that I can talk in various languages. It doesn't happen all the time. If someone said, "Oh, Marcus, can you do this for us now?" No, I couldn't do it, because that spirit has to come
just
through.
Don't know the language, so you can't.
That's right. But often
it's so interesting. Yeah.
Often is, you might hear this on the ghost night. Say, for example, if there's any spirits that could maybe that are from abroad or had a connection abroad, they may come through me in a different language. So interesting questions again. So yes, it can happen in the right environment, and if them spirits choose to, they may have not known English on Earth, and that's the reason why they would come through in different language.
I was thinking was, a few centuries back, because obviously every country in the world has got ghost or paranormal activity going on somewhere, and at some point, obviously, second language now around the world is probably English, but if you went to Africa, Ethiopia, somewhere where they generally the language was not spoken of an English person, then they could still talk through you, even though you didn't know their language before, if you see what I mean.
Yes. Well, it's dialect, you see, and when there's different sort of. It gets complicated, but basically when a client comes through and I bring their spirit loved one through, often is the case they'll use my voice box, they'll use me as the medium to come through me. I'm a vessel, and what happens is not just it's a different language, but it's also the dialect of the different parts in that country as well. And the reason why they do that is because that person in the physical world that's listening to what I'm saying from the spirit world and connecting, they would understand that is from that's from their relative, not just over in that country, but also the sense that it's a different dialect in a different part of that country. So that gives them validation evidence that their relative's there.
Can I ask, have you ever talked in tongues before? Can you talk in tongues? Or is that more of a Christian religious type?
I believe so. I've never talked in tongues myself, and I don't know too much about it. But it's an interesting question. I would imagine it's and I'm just surmising here. It's more of a religious type of thing. That's right, Phil. I'm just surmising that. Forgive me.
I actually saw it in action once on an Easter weekend in Blackpool, and there was groups and groups of people there, and it was quite scary to see. Because people were, all they'd have is their hand on their shoulder or something like that, and people were actually dropping down like flies. Wow, and when they got back up again, they were feeling full of spirit and full of joy and happy, and like it was like some big sort of de-stressing session, and there were lots and lots of people there. I've never experienced anything like that before or since. It was a spectacle.
Phenomenal.
To see, it really was.
Yes. No, phenomenal. And it just makes you sort of, think about the things that we don't know about, whether we're psychic medium or just,
There's still so much, Marcus. It's unbelievable.
Well, there is, and it's like I was saying earlier, Phil. I've been doing the mediumship, the psychic, clairvoyance, everything, hauntings, everything with this work for over 25 years, and I've got to say that there is still a lot to learn. There is still a lot to do, and what spirit will do, and particularly when I do the teaching side of this, there's courses that people can come on, and I can help them with this if they feel that they have a knowledge, or they feel that they feel things and sensing. And it can be as easy as that, just feeling something, sensing something. They get in touch with myself. What I can do is actually help them more to not only sort of encourage them to get involved with this more, but also sort of see what they can do. And so for me, for everyone, we're still learning, and that's the wonderful thing about being on Earth. And I've got to say the next worlds as well, in the spirit world, you're still forever learning.
Is there a method that you go through to help people develop their skills then as a teacher? I mean, do you have a test as such at the end of a 10-week course or something?
Yeah.
Is there something that happens in a specific way?
Yes.
How does it work?
Well, yes, there's a procedure. So there's various things we do. But ultimately, I can put them through tests and things like that. But ultimately, it's up to the spirit world to say, well, yes, we want them on board. We don't. This person we feel has got a future in this. So it's quite complicated because I don't know unless it's not just about the procedure. Yes, there is a procedure for spirit world to work with us, but even after that, they may change their mind halfway through the course of the group. There may be a student that is not sort of getting on really well, and then at the end they just fly through it because spirit have decided just to change the energy, change things, make sure that they're in the group. They go forward. So things happen and change all the time. But it's quite an interesting question again. But ultimately, it is up to the spirit world to who and doesn't do the sort of work that we do. Yeah.
Is it kind of like an X factor in the sky then, Marcus? I don't like to put it like that, but
I understand. Well, a little bit, yes. Yes, a little bit, because they're the governing bodies up there, and they have the choices to make on who's there and who's not. So it's quite true, yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Okay, so we're going to go back to the messages right now. Of course, this is Phil G. Biz with, of course, Marcus STARR, psychic medium, and, of course, the director of the Mobility Project, the managing director of the British Mobility Project, and the executive director for the British Most Haunted Project, and of course sponsor of this show, and that is of course Salim Saeed. Don't forget, we will be doing haunted nights and events very, very soon. So go to the website, thebritishmobilityproject.com. We're getting loads of messages tonight, and I'm really enjoying this. I hope you and Salim are too, Marcus. And
yes, we are.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so Ronnie Goodbury has come in with a message saying, why do spirits affect a camera sometimes when certain photos are taken and then not others?
Okay, good question. Right, okay. I'm not very technologically switched on, but on a spiritual platform, spirits can move around, they can sort of change about sometimes. So it may be wise for them to sort of look at the cameras or look at the equipment, see if there's any, sort of different sort of what we do when we do the hauntings is we do just check there's no failure in the technology and the equipment. So we're going to make sure that there's no interference, and so we can get clear clarity, clear evidence that if a chair, because I've been on the hauntings, a chair often just moves without no one there. If we get footage of that, we've got to validate that and give evidence that we've not done that. So it's important that the technology is really not just up to standards, but also the technology is very much cross-examined, before we do this. So but it's an interesting question, and it's a question that pops up a lot. Yes.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Ronnie Goodbury. Okay, so Tommy Roberts has got another story for us. He says, once I was walking home from my local pub and I felt somebody following me in the distance. In the distance, I could see a lady in white walking behind me. He says, I was surprised someone was following me as it was a very quiet country road. So I waited at the top of the hill for her to pass me, and then she disappeared.
Yes,
I then found out that she'd been seen in the local pub as a ghost in the window.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. I mean, this often happens. He's obviously got a sixth sense. He can feel things. He can sense things, and he would be very much one to come on a course or to sort of try and develop spiritually. And yes, if he's feeling that, there's obviously something that he's got there that his psychic abilities trigger that off. It's often the case where in the pub, they've passed over, they've collapsed in the pub, maybe ambulances come, possibly it's a situation where there's been a road traffic accident, they've been run over, so all these things, there's different reasons for all these things, but I would say with that great experience that he had, if he wanted to pursue that and get involved with the psychic work, I would say do that, because I just feel that not everyone. Yeah, I mean, not everyone can see, sense, feel. You've got to remember that the spirit's around us all the time. All around us all the time, 24 hours. So, and we can't see that. So for him to see that situation like that, it's phenomenal. So he's obviously got some sort of gift there, and I would, if he can, pursue that. Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, if I could just jump in there quickly, I had this conversation with Marcus as well just a few days ago. There's a village in Kent, which is supposed to be one of the most haunted villages in England, called Pluckley. And a very similar story has been told by several of the local residents there of a woman walking and then just disappears. So it is quite a familiar sort of story, especially like in these quiet villages and things like that, where there's been, a lot of history or something similar. But perhaps, that could be a location where we do one of our haunted.
It would certainly be interesting, wouldn't it, Si? It'd certainly be interesting. It would be really good. Kim T asks, do you use sage to cleanse at all? Do you use sage to cleanse at all?
Yes, and again, thank you so much to everyone that's coming through. What a lovely lady you are, and it really is. I can sense that spiritualism in you, and it is so important. It is so important to use, that, and it's also important to do that on maybe a monthly basis, every 2 months. It's really good to use this, but ultimately, when we sort of develop as psychics or mediums, you have guides that attach themselves to you. They're with you for reasons to help you in life, and they can change the energy automatically. But that's another program that we can, look into in the day. But yes, it's a really good form of protection, and I would advise everyone to do that, particularly when they've come, from a haunting night. Yes, fantastic. Go ahead with that. Wonderful. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Okay, guys. Celine, can you plug again for the BritishMobilityProject.com what we are going to be doing and what we've planned and how people can get involved and get tickets to the haunted events, please?
Yes, thank you, Phil. So on Monday, the 24th of May, we're holding a paranormal ghost tour at Coombe Abbey in Coventry. And during this visit, Marcus will be taking huge amounts of people around in small groups and giving them a tour of the grounds and also the internal building and investigating the paranormal activity that will be taking place. That's constantly being reported by members of the public and people who do visit there over the years, based on the history of the actual location and it being one of the most haunted locations in England. The tickets are currently on sale at the BritishMobilityProject.com. Those tickets are on sale for £40, but it's an introductory offer in order to show the public exactly how good Marcus really is, so he can, show people, what he can do, what his skills are, and also, most importantly, to actually get close and personal with the guy. Obviously, with COVID restrictions, obviously not too close, but social distancing and all that, I'm sure is going to have to be adopted. But yes, thank you, Phil, for that. Yeah, so the BritishMobility project.com. Just give us a call or email us, and somebody will get back to you very quickly.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Celine. Megan Baker has asked for a very brief read, please, Marcus. Is that okay?
Okay, yes. What's
Baker.
her name, Phil? Forgive me. Sorry, what's her name?
That's okay. It's Megan Baker.
Megan, okay. Thank you, Megan. Right, let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. Okay, right. Right, lovely lady you are. Very much a time at the moment of waiting, hanging around, nothing's happening, nothing's going on. And I'm also been under lockdown, so everybody's in the same situation to a degree. But it's like I keep saying, this world as we live is it really a school, and we're learning every day. And you've had to go through this long process in your life to, you've had to learn that. Just having time to yourself. You've planned a lot of things out recently, I feel, in your life. A lot of things have been removed without you knowing. Relationships, work, everything's been removed. So it's not just the sort of lockdown. It's been everything. And I feel you're sort of on your own in some ways. You've got people around you, yes, you have. But it's where do I go from here? What's going on in my life? Where am I going? And what I'd say to you is that things are about to start to manoeuvre in the right direction for you. I'm very, very drawn here to new work that's coming in for you. And I feel that is going to change things quite a lot over the next 3 months for you. You're going to have decisions whether to sort of stay where you are or move forward or change direction with that. But I would say go ahead and change, because I feel that it will give you that get up and go that you need. I don't feel you're getting much out of where you are at the moment. And I would say that if you can go in that direction and move forward in that way with your new work, with your new job, I feel it's going to give you a lot of direction. So thank you for coming through. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Megan. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Marcus. Okay, so we've got another question here from Laura Ward, who says, this is Laura Ward, how would you cleanse with sage? How would you cleanse with sage?
Good question. Well, there's various ways of doing it. It's quite straightforward, because what I do, I just say a few little prayers, and then what I do, I just put it in a dish or put it in a little bowl or something like that, and then just set it alight a little bit. Okay, so just and sort of stiff it around a little bit, and then just let all that energy just get around the atmosphere. Let that energy just get around the house. So it's quite straightforward, but you can buy them from spiritual shops. You can buy them from certain places, but you see, you're burning that lovely energy. You'll bring that lovely. That lovely energy to that home, to that atmosphere, to that situation. So that's one. Well, there's various ways of doing it, but that's the basic way of doing it. And but remember to say a prayer when you do this. Say a prayer, and it could be a prayer of all your wishes of what you want. But what it's going to do, it's going to protect you. And thank you for coming through. That's a good question, definitely, for anybody that's not done it before.
Absolutely. Okay, so guys, if you want a brief reading from Marcus, please call us down here in the studio in the next 10 minutes. 07946 624 307. That's 07946 624 307. Of course, keep your text messages coming in Ashley Collins has asked, can you read me? But I would really love you to call into the show, Ashley, if you could, please. 07946 624 307. I've got to say a big thank you to everybody tonight who's been keeping up with their stories and their messages and their questions. It's been a fascinating show once again. I mean, how do Marcus and Salim feel about tonight? Are you both happy?
Yeah, no, it's been really relaxed tonight, and it's so lovely because, you know, it's just lovely that people are interacting with us. They're asking these questions. You know, we do live in uncertain times, and as I say, we're just here for the Mobility Project, so we're trying to help that project, and it's just lovely, you know, that we can do this. There's no pressure. There's no, you know, you've got to do this or do that. So we could, you know, we could just help as many people as we can, and the questions are fantastic. It's lovely that people are getting involved and they've got a great interest in this. It's lovely.
I just think it's such a sorry, Steve.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I was just going to reiterate exactly the same. It's great that so many people are getting involved asking the questions, because when people ask questions, Phil, it really, really shows that there is a huge interest, and it's educational as well. I mean, we all learn something new every day, and I just think this is just fascinating. Sort of the more I do it, you know, working hand in hand with Marcus, the more fascinated I get from all the information that I learn and discover. It's just incredible.
I just feel from tonight I've learnt so much as well, though, Marcus and Salima. I really do.
Fantastic.
You know, what you can tell people, what you can share with people, and some of your stories as well are very, very interesting. And I think people are absolutely enjoying it, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go back to the questions just a sec. And what we'll do, if we haven't had a call by about 10:15, we'll wrap the show up. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, yes, that's fine, yeah.
Okay, lovely stuff. Okay, this is Megan Baker. Okay, so this could be a tough one, but here we go. Megan Baker again. You gave a little reading for just shortly. Said, why would people, after they die, just hang around haunting places? Oh, hello, ladies and gents. We've got a caller into the studio. Just give me a second, please. Here we go. Hello, Phil speaking.
Hi, Phil.
Hello, Tom. How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good, mate. Love a reading, if possible.
Okay, here we go. I'll put you through, on it. Here we go. Okay, so we've got Tommy, Marcus STARR Psychic Medium. I'm going to pass you over. This is Tommy Roberts on the line right now, and he would like a reading. Tommy, can I just ask you to let us know you're there?
Hi, Phil. Hi, Marcus. I'd love a reading if possible. I've sent a few messages in already about sort of past experiences, etc.
And it was very good. Thank you for those, Tommy. Thank you for those. Yes, so Marcus, you there?
I am, yes, we're here, yes, yeah.
I will let you chat away to the lovely Tommy here, okay?
Oh, hiya, Tommy. Thanks for coming through. Are you enjoying the show for the Mobility Project?
It's been really good, yeah. It's been really interesting, actually.
Yeah. Is there a specific area you want me to focus on with your life, my good friend?
Not really. I haven't had that many sort of people pass away that I know that are close to me. But it's more of sort of the direction my life's going, really.
Okay. Let's get into the zone. Right. Okay. Let's. Now, it's okay if some of the things that you understand and some of the things that you don't understand. Because some of the things you don't understand is because it's coming up for you. Okay, my friends. I'm just going to get into the zone, and then let's see what we can do. Let's have a little look, Tommy. Right. Okay, Tommy, interesting path and road that you've got coming ahead of you. Right, there's different things happening, lots of changes coming out over the next 3 to 4 months of your life. As I go into things, I know there's an indecision with your work. Plans have got to be made, things have got to be dealt with, and things have got to be sorted out. But until we get to that phase, you've got to think about where you do go with this. Do you take this path for business? Do you take this path with your work? Which way do you go? I feel you're going to make decisions in this within about 3 to 4 weeks. You're on the cusp at the moment, so it's not going to be easy for you to make any decisions until that time. But in saying that, you're a very educated person. So I feel one of the things that you're going to be doing very, very shortly is looking at new avenues for new business, looking at new avenues for new prospects of things and situations. Now, you've got to be a little bit careful, because obviously some people that come in that want to do business with you, you've got to think whether they're looking after you or not. All right. And in the past, you know yourself that people have come into your life and they've not been, because you're a good person, you see, because you've got a good heart and you've got a good sense of knowledge with things. You give everything all at once, you see. Have you noticed that you've given a lot of love in the past, but you've not received anything back as such? Would you notice that?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not been easy for you, see, is it? It's certainly a difficult situation. So what I'd say is, whatever decision you make, just make sure you're making the right one. Have you thought about what you're going to do with your work? I mean, what sort of work do you do, my good friend?
So I work in the broadcast industry, the TV industry.
Right, okay. Have you thought about what you're going to do in this? Because I just feel there's big things coming up. Are you focused on things coming up at all for you?
Yes.
Are you looking at possibilities?
I think probably new opportunities with what I'm doing.
That's right. And I just think it's really going to go really well for you, to be honest with you. I really feel comfortable as we go into July time. I really do. I know there is spirits that are around me trying to come forward for you now. But you do keep yourself to yourself as well. You do. You're a man that keeps yourself to yourself. You do your own little thing. I don't feel you're a person that likes to be hemmed in too much. Do you understand that? You don't like a lot of people's energy. You love people, and obviously they love you, but you don't. You tend with yourself. You don't tend to. You're very, should we say, person that keeps your cards close to your chest, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't feel you're an open book, if that makes sense. Now, we're talking about books and things like this, because I feel that's something you might do over the next 6 to 12 months. I can see you putting notes down on paper and really writing a book or getting involved with a novel. Is anyone mentioned about this?
No, definitely not. I would not go near anything to do with books.
It's okay. Well, look out for this. It may be that they're just giving you notes. You're writing notes down for a new project. All right. Yeah. But either way, I feel a deep connection with new work, new prospects. Now, what connection do you have abroad at all? Because I can see a business connection abroad as well.
Yes, so I do a lot of work overseas as well.
Right, okay.
Events like the Olympics.
Would one of them places be? Let's have a look at this, because I'm looking at sort of. In fact, they're not giving me the country, but I know it's abroad. And I just feel that's going to take off for you as well. I really feel that's going to take off for you as well. Now, I'm also, my friend, I feel there's changes in your personal life as well. And I feel with yourself, I feel you want someone in your life. But again, you're not going to commit yourself into a sense of really putting yourself out there, because you fear people a little bit. Not in the sense you fear people, but it's difficult for you to trust them. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So I don't feel, to a degree, I don't feel you're ready for any commitments, anything like that. Particularly in relationships. Are you on your own at all? So I can see you.
No.
I want you to open. It's okay. I want you to open up more in this relationship, because I feel that person in your relationship, they feel that you don't open up enough. So I want you to open up a little bit more to them. So then I feel they can understand you a little bit more, because I feel they want big commitments, I feel they want big things, but I feel sometimes you keep yourself to yourself a little bit. So I can see big things happening on both these fronts of your life over time. Thank you for coming through. God bless you.
Thank you, Tommy. Did any of that make sense to you?
Yeah, especially how you jumped on the business side of things, and currently I've got a lot of business things that are polluting my head at the moment with very, very, very busy at work. So you nailed that straight on the head.
And I feel there's a man, there's a gentleman, I'm not sure he's got glasses actually, but there's a gentleman at your work that you really do feel as if you really do feel as if you need to say something, or you want to say something, but you because he's a manager or a boss or someone high up, you feel like you can't say something, but you want to express your emotions. What they're saying to him here, he's trying not to express your emotions just yet with this person. I think it's very important just to hold back for now, but he's frustrating you and he pushes you to the limits, doesn't he? He really does sometimes.
Yeah. No, you've hit that right on the head, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, let me just ask. Who would Andrew be, or Andy, or initial A? Look out for this person, okay? And I'm being given this now. Look out for this person coming in at the name of Andrew or Anthony. And I feel this person is going to be very good for your business and good with your work in promoting things going forward. I really feel this.
Could be Alan. Alan?
Yes, it possibly could be. I know there's an initial A here, and I feel it's very, very good for you. Is this person around now? Yes. And am I right in saying that you're not sure about them? Because I feel they're good for you. I feel they could be quite good for you. It's almost like there's a lot of dynamic, there's a lot of changes going on, and it's almost like you're not sure what the changes are. And I feel you just got to go with the flow. I feel you've really got to go with the flow of the changes, because I feel they're good changes for you. I don't feel the negative changes for you. And I also feel as if you're going out more, and you're not so closed in going forward. I feel, have you been quite closed in with your work?
I mean, of course, obviously with lockdown and...
Yes, of course, God bless you, I understand. Yeah, because that's why they're giving me, you go, yeah, that's right. So I feel quite excited about that. Yes.
Things going forward, everything's very busy.
I feel it's going to be very, very good for you, I really do.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's just one more thing that's coming through for you. Have you got you've got a sister, haven't you? Or is it a brother? It's a sister, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Right, there's a message here for your sister. Now, she's got a partner, she's married, is that right? I'm being given?
That's right, yeah.
That's right. Now, there's an important message for her come through. As I say, I feel very excited about your work and about the prospects of things going forward. I feel very good. But the main message I feel with you, and it's interesting you've come through, because sometimes Spirit draw people to me, not because necessarily of their own lives on a psychic level, but on a mediumistic level. Sometimes they draw people to me for the members of the family. And I feel the main reason you've come through it is because of your sister. This is quite an important message. I do know that I'm being told that she's not quite settled. She may look settled with a partner or a marriage, but she's not quite settled. And although she is settled, she doesn't feel settled in herself. She may have talked to you, she may not have talked to you, she may talk to you, but I do know that the advice from the spiritual world here is quite clear to stay where she is, because it's a fairly settled environment. And I just feel if she was to walk away from this or walk away from the situation, I feel that she'd regret it. But obviously, I don't want to give too much to you, because obviously it's private information for you, but obviously come through to us here at the Mobility Project, and we can look into that more for you. But I do know that very shortly she's going to have indecisions about the marriage, and I would advise very strongly to stay in this, but of course the choice is hers. God bless you.
All right.
Thank you for coming through.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Is your sister mentioned about anything about her not happy?
No, not. I mean, I don't speak to my sister.
This is coming up then for you. God bless you.
Yeah.
I'll leave that with you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus, and thank
God
you,
bless
Tommy,
you. Thank you.
for coming on tonight as well. It's been lovely to chat to you, and I really hope you're okay. And at some point after the show, I'll get into contact and just say a quick hello. But I hope you are all right for now. All right.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers for
Thank you for coming through. Lovely gentleman you are. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Well, I tell you what, it's been a good show. It's been a nice show tonight. We've had lots of different people come in through the text and the messages, and even on the telephone, which has been lovely. And of course, if you want to get in touch with Marcus and get a reading from Marcus, a fuller reading than you can get here, the best place to go is the British Mobility Project.com, and if you go to the drop down menu, you will see psychic medium Marcus STARR on the page. But I tell you what, Marcus, what you can do for people, how you can help people, it is absolutely amazing. You know, it blows me away every week that we do these. Like last week with Sam, and tonight even, when I sort of went into a little trance, I almost felt trance-like when you were asking me those questions.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. Like, to me, I was like, oh my God, what's happened? 1 minute we're chatting away, and the next minute it's like,
yes.
You know.
Yes, well, with that gentleman, it was more of a psychic energy sort of reading there, which is a complete different reading than the mediumship, because obviously there was no one coming through to him from the spirit world. But it's lovely, and like your project, that's what we're doing here for. So everybody, come on board, come on the events, and let's get things going here. Exciting times ahead.
Yeah, so Salim, we could just chat a little bit more about the haunted location that we're going to, the tickets, and where they go to book, which is, of course, the BritishMobilityProject.com. But tell us some more, my man.
Absolutely. So, obviously, this paranormal ghost tour, it will be very, very exciting. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, that we are going to split into separate groups. We will go into different rooms of the building, exploring sort of different sort of areas of the building. Some areas where a lot of people, certainly wouldn't feel comfortable in going, sort of dark areas of the building, because it is a very, very old building, very historical. And obviously throughout the grounds of the Abbey as well, Coombe Abbey, we do sort of ask people to obviously bring their own sort of companion or somebody with them to make them feel obviously a little bit more comfortable, because obviously we can't predict.
We just don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly, but there will be activity there. Marcus has already explained to me in detail the sort of things that will be happening there, with the energies and the entities and the paranormal activity that has been regularly witnessed by the public. It's been in newspapers. I think it was just the Daily Mirror. It was actually advertised in there not so long ago, where where there was like a transparent lady in the window
Wow.
of the actual abbey, and it was quite frightening. I think two ladies had actually gone there sort of to have a look, and they saw it when they played back the recording on their camera. They actually saw this image in the window of a transparent lady, and it actually comes to light that they were the only people occupying that actual room, and nobody had access to that room.
Ooh.
So it couldn't have been,
The mystery deepens.
Indeed.
Celine, the mystery deepens. So exciting. I mean, all of this stuff really excites me. My mum, as I said before, was a massive believer in the afterlife and in ghosts, and she believed she was haunted quite a bit growing up, and that she had some sort of psychic connection. And she'd always said to me, you've got to be more intuitive, and things like that. And and I've had a few things, but I've never witnessed an actual outline of a ghost or anything like that in person, But obviously I've seen orbs and things, which was cool. But yeah, I mean, guys, would you mind if just in a minute's time or so we leave it there? But can I just quickly put a few more comments out before we go any further? Ashley Collins again has asked me to read her, but unfortunately, I'd prefer to do that over the telephone, and we don't really have the time to do that right now. And Kimmy T again, question for Salim. Salim, are you quite a spiritual person, or have you had any ghostly experiences?
Really good question, actually. I never used to be in any way like a spiritual person. I just was so busy, obviously, with business, etc. Never really had time to even consider sort of, any like religion or sort of anything spiritual, to be honest. Just not a lot of time for it. Although I've studied sort of all religions and respect, everybody's religion and spiritual views. I think that's important. But yeah, I mean, I was actually just talking to Marcus last week about this. There was, I've had a couple of sort of experiences, especially quite recently as well, whereby I keep hearing sort of noises within the house, and obviously you kind of get to know your house over the years. I mean, I've lived here for 16 years in the same house, and you do sort of know the noises and the little creaks of your house, especially if you put your heating on, that type of thing. But yeah, I've heard sort of noises within the house that I haven't heard before, and so I spoke to Marcus about this, and he was absolutely spot on with like the information that he told me. He told me there was a lady that used to live here before. He confirmed her age. He confirmed that she died in the house. But then the most amazing part of what he did was he said to me that the lady saying that there's something that belongs to her within your grounds or within your house. So I said, really? I said, that can't be true, Marcus, because I cleared this house out and gutted this house and refurbished the whole building. However, he said to me that she's telling him to tell me that it's a hedgehog. Yeah. I said, a hedgehog? He said, yes, a hedgehog. So I said, hold on a minute. So I opened the back door, and there was actually, I remember there was some sort of garden figures, one of which being a hedgehog, and that's the only thing that actually belonged to the previous owner that she was referring to through Marcus. That was the validation that Marcus gave me personally. That was a hedgehog. I've still got a photo of it now.
Fantastic. When Marcus said a hedgehog, did you kind of think at first like a living hedgehog that lived in your garden, maybe?
Of course.
And then you realise that it's actually an ornament that has been there for a very long time that you haven't noticed.
Exactly. And
that's amazing, isn't it?
It's just attention again, which is just incredible.
Blows me away. Do you know what I mean? I just don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it, but it's fantastic. Laura Ward as well. This is going to be the final comment now. She said, brilliant show, guys, with a smiley face and a little kiss. All right, just to let you know that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and once again, guys, Marcus, you've blown me away again. Salim, it's been great to chat. I hope you don't mind. We're going to wrap things up now for tonight.
Okay.
And we are back, though, next Wednesday night, of course, from 8 p.m, right here on This Is Reading 24/7. Don't forget, make sure you go to the BritishMobilityProject.com and book some tickets for our fantastic haunted events that are coming up very soon as this lovely lockdown is lifted. And call us in the studio next time on 07946 624 307 to be part of the show and get a reading from the lovely Marcus STARR, psychic medium, here tonight. And if nobody has any objections, we're going to close down for now, but it is the BritishMobilityProject.com where you should